Welcome to Ball and Chain Podcast. This is episode 213. I'm Mox Morgan. I have with me, it's my angel.
Hello.
Hello. We're not really centered. Oops.
No, not really.
Boop. There we go. Boop. So, apologize for the mess in the background.
I can't really tell.
Podcast.
Got a little bit
This
cleaned
is
out.
episode 2. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So, let's first, before we get into that. So, what are we? We are a video game entertainment news paper. Not reading. No, I don't have my drink. Damn it! I'm so
You are
I am so
ADD tonight. Oh my
scatterbrained
gosh.
today. Oh my god! So let's start over. Hi, I'm Joe. This is Amanda. The
Using real names.
The real names. Our Ball and Chain podcast. This podcast is about video games and movies, music, games, like board games, all
Whatever
sorts.
we like to do.
Whatever we like to do. We
Things
just
we
like
like
to
to do.
talk.
You would like to talk. I get roped into it.
Are you the ball or are you the chain? I think you are probably the ball, and I'm the chain. Like I'm the ball and chain. Like I
Right.
drag you into it.
Okay.
In that reference, at least. So. We record podcasts every Wednesday, right about 8:30, 8 o'clock, depending on when the kids go to bed. And we stream to Twitch at twitch.tv/72dpi online. We are on Facebook Live, which is my personal Facebook. And then also, brand new this week is YouTube. We are now streaming to YouTube. So, hello, YouTube. How are you guys doing?
They didn't respond.
They did not. I was waiting for a response, so... Oh well. So let's see here. I wonder if I can see chat on here. I don't know. We'll see. So this week we got quite a bit to talk about. We've got our top 5 list of games that we wish we could go back and play again for the first time again. Again. We're gonna talk about some Call of Duty World War II, which you didn't play any of it.
No, I didn't. I think I saw about the first few minutes. There I am.
There you are.
Saw the first few minutes of cutscene and then passed out.
Of cutscene. There's more than one. It sounded funny the way you said it.
I just saw the first 5 minutes of the first cutscene.
Oh,
whatever.
okay. The
Yeah.
first cutscene. I thought you said of cutscene. Like,
Well,
there's only
I think
one.
I did. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh, see, now
I
the
didn't
microphone's
actually
in front of your
see
face.
gameplay. I know, that's the problem.
Like this. There we go.
Hello.
Well, don't. You can point it up. Like, oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. So the reason why I apologize at the beginning of the episode was because we had a little bit of a catastrophe. What was that? Sunday night? Yeah, I think it was Sunday night. And
Yeah, it was. It was Sunday.
yeah.
Because Eli went
So
to school.
let me walk you through what was going on Sunday. I'm down here in our basement, on the computer. I've got my headphones on, and I'm
upstairs putting children to bed.
You're upstairs putting kids to bed. I'm down here working on your photography stuff, like advertising, things like that. And I've got my headphones on, got music playing, and I hear this like water running in the back. I'm like, what in the world is that? And so I take my headset off, and I'm like, if the cat is peeing on something, like she is going to town. So like I get up all pissed off, and I walk over there, and she's standing on the our coffee table, kind of hunched, not in peeing position, but not in just, hey, I'm standing here looking cute position either. She's kind of got this weird look on her face.
Like,
and
I hate water.
Like right, and I'm thinking, the first thing that pops in my mind is, oh my God, I hope you're not peeing on the coffee table, because it houses a lot of our older games and older controllers and things that are not very cheap to replace. And then I look in the background, and like it was almost like, those old cartoons, like the Warner Brothers cartoons where like they're on a ship or whatever, and they poke a hole in the ship and the water comes rushing in or whatever. It's like a little quarter-size hole, and there's just like a spout of water, just like clearing like maybe 5 inches of ground coming into the basement. I'm like, oh God, what? And then I realized like the whole living room side of the basement is like a giant puddle. I'm like, oh, Nikes.
Yeah.
And so I tried calling for help, like, hey, help, 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 someone come down here, help me, like, get towels and stuff like that and try to plug this thing up. And I eventually came down, like, what's going on? I'm like, there's a lot of water. What?
Yeah. So then I call around, found a extra shop vac and dehumidifier for my dad. Go out to his house. It's still raining. Probably not the best idea to go grab all that stuff while it's still raining, but I don't think we realized quite the extent of the amount of rain that we had got, because it didn't sound out of the ordinary. I mean, it sounded like heavy rain, but nothing like we hadn't dealt with before.
Right. It wasn't like this, like, you can't see, like, inches in front of you.
It may have been. I mean, at some point it may have been that, and more than likely was, due to what I found when I left the house. But I get like 3 houses down and realize my car is in water. I can't see the road. It's probably up to the bottoms of my doors, and there's no turning back at this point. So
I've committed. I'm
in this puddle. I'm just gonna keep moving forward. I get to my dad's, grab the stuff, and I said, okay, well, I know this area is flooded, so I'm gonna try going home a different way. So of course I come home a different way. That's also flooded. There's street crews out with caution tape across a couple of the roads. They're popping the manhole covers off to let the water go down. And I'm stuck. I go through a puddle. My engine starts to steam. On the other side's another puddle. I find dry ground, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just going to park it here. So, of course, my mother was
frantically calling people to help to find you.
Right. And my cell phone was dying because I took the wrong car and didn't have the car charger. Police ended up coming by, and instead of helping me home, they said, yeah, you're not getting there. Just sit and wait. It'll take 20 minutes for it to clear once the street crew comes by. I'm like, oh, thanks.
Just sit and relax.
Right. So, lo and behold, my father comes by with his SUV, who was able to just barely make clear some of the water, drops me off, and goes home the way that I had initially taken to his house. And by that point, the water had receded in that area. And so I should have just come home that way. But had I known, I would have been fine. But it was quite the ordeal.
It's all good. I mean,
we spent the next 3 hours clearing out water.
It was horrible. Like,
it went a lot easier than I thought it would, though, given the shop vac.
Yeah, your dad's shop vac did save the day. Like, I mean,
it pulled paint off the floor is how strong that thing was.
I not necessarily like the power of it, but like just having the extra attachment where I'm not having to hunch over and push this little hose thing against the ground and suck up like an inch and a half worth of water. Like, he actually had like the wide mouth, attachment that like you could just like set it down and it would just like you could see like like a 2-foot radius of water just
right.
So we didn't quite fill the whole, what was it, 10 gallon? We probably filled it about halfway. But it was, yeah. So basically the office where we podcast is the only place that for whatever reason didn't get water. So naturally everything came to the office. We had to pull our surround sound speakers off the floor. DVD racks were coming in here. The laundry baskets that we had in the laundry room had to come out because that's where the drain is. So like all the water is going to the laundry room, to drain. So we had to pull all the baskets off the floor. It was a hot mess.
It was a little chaotic.
So we didn't get the podcast, the Man and Drain podcast, unfortunately. We'll catch back up on that on Wednesday, or next Monday. And then I was in the middle of recording my Dead of Winter review thing to get that series up and running. Oh. So yeah, that's a hot mess. I'll have to redo that because I have to retake like 1 or 2 shots, and obviously the set's not behind me anymore. I had to put it away. So anyway, that was
our Sunday evening, which means we have not caught up on
Walking Dead.
So there will be no Walking Dead information.
No spoilers this week. You have a week off. We're going to watch it after this, though.
I'm lucky I have not yet seen a spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
You have?
No, I have not. No.
Oh, okay. No. I was going to say that you were giving me was kind of like a...
No. So what do you want to talk about first? We got our top 5 lists. We've got this GameStop thing. We've got the COD.
Well, I don't know anything about COD.
Okay.
Because I slept.
Okay. You want to just go through that real quick?
Either way you want to run it.
Okay. Let's do that real quick. Okay. So Call of Duty. Was able to rent it from Redbox. Again, highly recommend Redbox. We'll talk about this GameStop thing here in a minute, and actually that might be a good segue. But I highly recommend Redbox. It's a great way to rent games for as long as you want or as few days you want. I don't recommend renting them for, because it's $3.99.
Yeah, the problem is whenever we do it, we end up not returning it, and then we might as well have just bought the game.
Well, it's not quite that bad. But anyway, so essentially Call of Duty has been this modern warfare it's probably been since the Xbox 360, so it's going on at least 10 years. So they've been in this modern warfare kick. Like the last Call of Duty they did that was World War II
farmhouse outside of Marion.
was for the I don't think the 360 had one. I'm almost positive.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure, unless I might be wrong on that. It's been a hot minute. So this is the first one for this generation. So this one they're taking us back to World War II. You've got D-Day, and obviously that's the first level is D-Day, and you're storming the beaches and all that stuff. And
I'm wondering if they've already told that story. Why is there
they're telling it from different people. Like different stories, like you're not playing the same dude. You're playing a different soldier.
But you're playing in the same battle, though.
Right, you are,
Okay.
and they haven't gone back and done this in like 10+ years. So there's probably a whole generation of gamers that have never played this type of game and will never go back and play those old Call of Duty games because of the graphics. The graphics do not hold up well, right? It's not.
That's true.
So with Call of Duty, when they spit out so many games, they spit out a game every year. If you're a multiplayer fan, you have to almost buy the latest and greatest one because the community just follows the newest one. And you can still find games and stuff like that on older games, but like eventually they cut off the servers and they stop allowing you to play online. So you have to kind of upgrade at some point in time.
Me and my older brother
But
Paul were hunting them when we got.
I was really impressed. I've never been a huge fan. I'm not a big history buff, so I'm not really. This game really didn't appeal to me in the sense of storytelling. So I was planning on buying it and going through the actual campaign and then going into the multiplayer after 1 or 2 levels. But the level of detail this game provides and like the storytelling was fantastic. I actually played through about 3/4 of the game. What you're watching right now is a cutscene. It's about halfway through the second level. It's kind of a flashback, and your one guy has like this nightmare or whatever. But at any rate, the level of detail, it's just you can tell it's a labor of love. Like these guys are huge history buffs. Like the weapons are, it's weird going from these modern day weapons and futuristic weapons in Call of Duty and Halo and all that, and going back to like this. I've got this 5-clip rifle that it's one shot, and then you gotta like manually eject the cartridge, and then it's not the.
It's a little slower.
Right. Oh yeah. I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm not going to say anything about the actual the weapons because I don't know anything about them. I don't know their names. All I know is it looks fantastic. You definitely get, even not having that type of knowledge, you get that type of sense of rustic feel. That era of weapon. The AI is fantastic. I like the. I don't know if this is something new that they've done in the past, but your platoon, you've got a guy that. Something new or something they've done in the past. Sorry, I might have forgot a word or two.
I was a little confused there.
I might have forgotten a word or two in there. I don't know if this is a new feature that they haven't implemented, or if it's something they've done in the past.
Okay.
But it's phenomenal. So essentially, you've got 4 guys that you can interact, or 3 guys that you can interact with in your platoon. You've got a guy that will throw you med kits, and he's got like a cooldown, so like you can get a med kit from him every like minute and a half or whatever, 2 minutes, and that's something that they can tweak, you know, on their own. Then you've got a guy that can throw you ammunition. So like if you get stuck, he can say, "Hey, I've got ammo ready here. You know, I've scavenged ammo here," and you'll call for it. And basically, he'll, you know, if he's within, you know, an eye shot of you, he'll throw it to you, or you can run up to him and just hand it to you. And then there's also a guy that's kind of like your spotter or whatever. So he'll call out where people are and he'll highlight them kind of futuristically, which is kind of that's the weakest of the 3, I think, because it kind of takes you out of that element, right? And the reason why I say that is because there's a portion in one of these levels, like I don't think it's this one. No, it's not this one. There's a portion in one of the earlier levels where the direction that your sergeant and your platoon they're giving you is so direct. They're like there's a sniper on the second roof across the building or across the street, and like so you know second on the roof or second window to the left. You know, we've got people coming up on the right.
Not just like people would say, "Hey, over there!"
Right, over there. They're they're flanking us, which was a common thing. Like they're flanking us, and you're like, okay, flanking left, flanking right. Are they behind me? Are they jumping over top of the whatever? But they're so precise with what they're saying. Like it's like you almost don't even need the silhouette of the people from the callouts. You could just have them. Hey, they're across the street. You know, northwest. On the screen. Overall, I enjoyed it. I didn't finish the campaign, but I will finish it. I'm going to finish it tonight. So yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it's, you know, these games are constantly getting better. Like I don't care if you're one of those people that says you have a favorite. I know there's 3 companies that make these games or whatever, and some of them are better at others, they're better at parts of it than others. Like some of the storytelling. I think this is Sledgehammer Games. They're usually the storytelling and company or whatever, so that may be why this game is shining. However, I haven't. Oh yeah, and like the cutscenes are fabulous. The other thing that is really interesting is when the one level you play as a female, you disguise yourself as a Nazi, and you need to infiltrate this one garrison or whatever building, and you need to meet with their covert op inside the building. And essentially, it's very sub-level when it comes to this type of gameplay in Call of Duty, but like you have like your backstory, right? And you're in this car, and your sergeant or whoever is kind of filling you in, like you're this person, you're coming here for this, and this is where you're from, and this is where you did this, kind of giving your backstory. And then he hands you like this passport-looking thing. It's got all your information of what he just went over. And the level is designed to where you have to go through these several checkpoints, and they take your papers and they say, "Oh, where are you from?" or whatever. And you have to answer one of the, you know, it's a A or B question, so you've got a 50% chance of getting it. But it's all written in German, so it's like, I think this is what that said. Like, I'm not really sure, but it was just refreshing. I think the low point for me was the Jeep sequences. They always feel weird, and like this is the one thing I think has not changed since Modern Warfare, is when you get in a vehicle in these Call of Duty games, it just does not feel right.
They must have run when they heard us coming.
It's just strange.
Stock up before we get to the tower.
Really?
Shit! MG on the second floor. Get to cover.
But the destructible environments, like in here, I think I throw a grenade up in the corner and knock down this guy, and then the whole platform that he's on right here. This is really cool.
Got one!
And like the whole like side of the what you call it, balcony that he was on just falls down. The guy's got a flamethrower. I mean, the weapons are really cool. I don't know. I like it. I wouldn't recommend buying it. I would rent it. Because unless you're a huge Call of Duty fan, which in that case you probably have already purchased it, if you got a 40-inch TV or a 4K TV, this is definitely going to be one of those games that shines. The cutscenes are really just stunning.
Got him!
So, anyway, what's this? Oh, sorry, I was reading. Okay, so Eli, it's time for bed, dude.
Yep, go to bed. Thanks for watching.
Go to bed, brah. Get some sleep, dude. All right. So that was Call of Duty. I'm gonna finish it tonight. Maybe I'll put a game in on the multiplayer or not. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not. I'm not really interested in that multiplayer. All right. Let's. What do you want to talk about next?
I don't know.
Come on.
Top
Top
fives.
Top 5. Okay. I don't have any particular order. So
Me either.
let's do it. We'll go through yours first.
Okay. Well, you can tell it's my list because
Right.
it's all like RPGs. I think if I remember, I don't even remember what my list was. I have to go back.
Well, I've got video up, so.
Okay. Do you have them all up?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well.
Look at you being prepared. Oh no!
Oh
Now you're hearing
my
us
God.
talk. I'm sorry. Okay, so Eternal Sonata, right? That's what this is. Yeah, it's been
That's
so
what this
long
is?
since I've played it. This was an RPG. I loved this RPG. I was able to play it straight through. I didn't have to grind. That's where I fail on RPGs a lot.
Before we go into this, what is this list? For those that are just now joining us, this is one of our top 5 lists where we put 5 of our top favorite something in. What is this list of?
Games we would go back and play for the first time, which I wasn't really understanding necessarily what you meant.
So it's really about what I'm thinking, and I give credit to one of my coworkers. We were talking about this, Chase. He mentioned BioShock is one of those games where you want to experience it again for the first time. Like if you go back and play it a second time, it's like, yeah, I know that's going to happen. I know the twist at the end, or I know this enemy's weakness, or whatever. The story. I know the story. What are some top 5 games that you wish you could forget that you've played and go back and enjoy them again?
Okay. Well, this was a really cool RPG. I don't think it's excuse me, not had any sequels or anything. It was just an easy RPG to pick up. It was all music related. Basically, you're playing through, I think, kind of the dream of Chopin as he's on his deathbed, and you're kind of it breaks up the story into different segments. Between each segment, it plays one of his works and tells you something about his life. It was just the story was great. It was pretty. It was easy to pick up and just enjoy and play. You didn't feel like you had to grind and really stress about it. It was just a fun, easy game to pick up. The story was great. Obviously, this is an older game. The graphics don't look amazing here, but at the time they were, it was pretty. Definitely not like a realistic version, but
it seemed very smooth and fluid. Like everything was real. It wasn't very jittery. It was,
very dreamlike, which is what it was supposed to be. So just a game I really, really enjoyed. What is this?
Star Ocean?
Oh, okay. This isn't the Star Ocean I was talking about.
Oh.
I was talking about Star Ocean for the PS1.
Oh man. Okay. Well, let me see.
It would now be called Star Ocean Second Story.
Second Story?
I believe so.
Let's see if we can find something.
That
doesn't have any talking over it. Well,
anyway.
We're gonna watch an ad.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry.
Just find screenshots. Anyway.
There we go.
Star Ocean. This would have been the very, very, very first. They remade it. FYI.
Is this the remake then? I'm assuming.
I don't know.
Oh.
No, I don't know what this is. I don't know what you're watching. Yeah, I don't know what you're watching there.
I don't know what this is. All right. Anyway.
Sorry. Anyway, Star Ocean. It was the very first. That does look like Claude. Is that Claude? Anyway, Very first RPG I ever played. I never actually beat it. That's the cover art, that blue, that I'm familiar with at least. You should just look up PS1. Yes, that looks right. That looks right.
There you go.
Yay! Anyway, very first RPG I ever played. I never did beat it. It was one of those where I put like 40, 50 hours in, and I wasn't high enough level. I could never get past like one of the end bosses.
Mm-hmm.
Play it through again, 40, 50 hours. Couldn't beat
Still
it.
couldn't get it.
Right. So I've probably got well over 100 hours in this game.
Oh, no, never mind. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've never got I've never got through this game. I probably got at least 100 hours into it. It had decisions. I don't remember how many different endings that it had, and given the fact that this is such an old game, I was astounded that it had the capability of doing this. But you'd go to a town, and you could hit, I think, like square button or something, and I forget what they called it, but there would be a certain scene, like an optional scene, and you're based on your replies in those optional scenes, or if you did them, it affected your relationship rating with the different characters in your party.
Mm-hmm.
And so the endings would be different based upon that. So
There's a game like that
hate
on my list that does that too.
I hate that I never was able to actually complete the story and find out what endings I got. It kills me. But yeah, I love this game.
So this looks like it might be like a 50 to 60 hour game. Like, was it a long game?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Like I said, I've played it through probably 40 to 50 hours at least
What
on
sucks
each
is,
playthrough, and have never beat it.
What was terrible is my attention span back then was garbage. Like, if a game lasted longer than like 30 hours, like, I was not interested in it. And I didn't play many of these RPG games. Like, there was one on the PC that I played like religiously, but yeah, I wish I would have got into this, because now I would love to play something like this, but I don't have the time.
Yeah, and we have it. I believe we bought the remake for
PS2,
PS3, I think. But yeah, so they did remake it. It looks like 2009.
Okay.
But at any rate, so when they remade it, it had 13 new endings for a total number of 99 to 100 different endings. That's what I'm talking about. When you talk about, oh, you can change things and the endings are different, and you have like 2 different endings.
Right.
Right.
You get
like,
the good
this
ending or
has
bad ending.
So many different options, and it's old as heck, and yeah.
Old as dirt.
Yes, and it's just a great, just a fun game.
Okay.
Again, my introduction into RPGs.
All right. Next up is, do you know what this is? Final Fantasy 8. Yep.
Wow, that looks like crap. Again, it's been a long time. Again, this is my first Final Fantasy RPG that I ever played. Again, never beat it. Notice the theme happening. At least I beat
Skate
the
World.
advertisements.
Sorry, guys.
At least I beat Eternal Sonata. Again, loved the story at the time. The graphics were amazing. It's a Final Fantasy game. First Final Fantasy game I ever played. But again, didn't grind, so was not a high enough level. I think I've played it 2 times through, 80 hours into a game that I've never beat. Oh. But still, would love to be able to go back, not have played it twice, and go back, grind, do what I need, and finish the game start to finish for the first time. That would be awesome.
Yeah. This should look
Uncharted. I don't know that I'd played any games like this prior to Uncharted, but it really opened my eyes. Of course, now I love the whole franchise. Probably one of my favorite franchises, and the whole reason why I wanted a PS4. And since then, because I never played Tomb Raider either. Since then, I've gotten into playing some of the Tomb Raider games, which is very similar in the platforming. and the whole treasure hunter kind of vibe. But love the character. The story writing's hilarious, and is just in general a lot of fun to play around with.
And last up,
What is this? Oh, Dark Cloud 2. Okay, I haven't seen this game forever either. I love
you
this
gave
game.
me this list. Okay.
I know, it's just been a long time and I don't remember. Okay, so Dark Cloud 2. I want to say this was GameCube, maybe?
It says PS2 on there.
Oh, come on. Okay, well, that would have been the same era as GameCube, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably out for both. Anyway. This is another RPG, so again, you can tell where my interests were at one point.
Right. Did you level up enough to get...
I beat this game.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I did beat this game. This game was really interesting. And again, it's been probably 15 years since I've played this game, so forgive me if I don't get everything accurate.
You need to be 100%.
I know. But this girl, I believe, like something happens in the future and it's at risk. And she goes back and you play as both her and a boy. And you have to basically, you've got to fight and get like plants. You got to collect things. And then you go back to these areas and you go into the past and you place things down. So you might be in this city area, and in order to beat this stage, it has to have 3 houses. The middle one has to have a pink roof. There's things that you can do to kind of customize it, but there has to be certain there's certain criteria you have to meet, and then you can go back into the future as her and see that what you've done has had an effect on the future. You've successfully recreated this, built this back up. It's really a lot of fun and kind of neat. Just different. I never played Dark Cloud 1. I don't think it did as well as this one, but this was just I don't know. It was very different.
The character animations and art looks really good, but the environment is a little lackluster.
No, given the fact this is PS2.
Well, no, I understand that, but I'm giving it a compliment that the character animation's fantastic, and the fact that it's PS2.
Did you ever play this one?
No.
Oh, you should. This was just a fun game.
No, I missed out on a bunch of those. Let me jump.
We have this, FYI. I
believe we have a lot of games. So let's continue the.
We should have, thinking about this, we should have a retro gaming week where instead of going and renting something from Redbox, we pull something off the shelves and play it.
We can do that.
Because you've missed out on a lot of great games.
We can do that. We can stream it too.
There you go. There's your next laundry day.
No, we're not doing that. We're not. No, we're not doing that. We can do something together.
How are we gonna play these together?
The same way you play them. Didn't you play games with kids, with friends when you were a kid?
They're not split screen.
No, but like you have one per. Usually when.
I didn't have games when I was a kid.
Oh, okay. Well, usually what we would do is we would play until you died or until you beat a level. So like if you beat a level, you pass a controller, or if you died, you pass a controller.
How do you do that in an RPG?
You probably can go by like a set of battles or whatever. I mean, play 5 battles and then pass. It just depends on the size of the RPG. So
okay,
we can definitely do that. We'll figure something out. That'll be fun. So, kind of segueing into RPGs on my list, Baldur's Gate. This is the one RPG that I played, and I'm not counting Diablo as an RPG, even though it's kind of in that same vein. Diablo should be on this list, but it's my number 6. But Baldur's Gate, by far, was probably one of the games that I put the most hours in, and was kind of like you. And this is probably what left a bad taste in my mouth for RPGs is I put so much time into this game and I couldn't beat it because my characters weren't high enough level. I didn't unlock enough of the high level spells. I didn't have enough of the high level equipment. The other thing that I didn't comprehend as a child was a similar party structure as shoot, what was your first RPG? Wasn't Eternal Sonata the one where the parties interact with each other?
Yeah, Star Ocean.
Star Ocean, right. So they're kind of like in the same vein of D&D, where you have like lawfully good, chaotic evil, and everything in between. So you could technically mix people, like you could mix chaotic good or lawful good and chaotic evil. You can mix those people in your party, but the moment you completed a quest a certain way, you'd piss somebody off, and they would either leave your party or worse, they would attack you. Like they would become an enemy. And the thing is, if they became an enemy, all the equipment and things that they had, they took with them. Like you couldn't get that stuff back. So yeah, and there were like some quest specific items that you had to keep throughout, like, over chapters worth of storytelling, and if you lost that character, you could not proceed. And that happened to me twice, where there was some type, the final, it might have been the final boss. I don't know. You had to get an invitation to this party or something or whatever to get in the building, and I just didn't have the invitation. And it's one of those games where you start out in a certain area and you're like, okay, this is going to be my home base, and this chest or this box is where I'm going to put all the stuff I don't need, and I'm going to use this box as kind of like where I store everything, right? Well, if you do that a couple times, like throughout the game, because you're traveling to many different places, you start to lose track of where those boxes are, and you're like, well, crap, the invitation could be anywhere. But it was a fantastic game. It was my fault that I didn't complete it, but fantastic nonetheless. Highly recommend it. It's super old game from the 90s, but still,
that's what most of mine were.
Still a fantastic game. Lots of fun to play. Good storytelling. Multiple different. I don't know if there were multiple different endings, but there were multiple different ways you can complete things. Like there's different story options you could pick from and things like that. Beautiful Joe.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
this
that
game.
I never played it. I watched it though.
This game is fantastic. Like this is so much. It was so much fun. I remember. Oh my god, stupid commercials. Like I need to download these videos next time. I apologize. But Beautiful Joe it came out on the GameCube. I played originally on the GameCube, and it was one of those things. It was like, wow, this is, the cell shading. The cell shading thing had become really big with the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. So it was around that same time frame. Probably not exactly. My memory is shot at that point, but just the art style was completely different. The storytelling is completely different. It kind of is similar in like Deadpool.
That's what I was just about to say. It almost reminds me of Deadpool.
It reminds me a lot of Deadpool, where he makes fun of himself. He talks to the audience, and he kind of like, breaks that fourth wall or whatever. Yeah. But it's just a lot of fun. I mean,
yeah, something that
over
was
the
very
top.
different at the time.
Yeah, way over the top. Fallout 3.
That was a good game.
This was a good game.
Yeah.
Nothing against Fallout 4. Better graphics, better guns, better everything. But this was the original one that I played. I haven't
finished Fallout 4 yet.
Neither have I. But I have Fallout 2 and 1, I think.
Did we
for
have
PC.
children at this? I don't think we did yet have children at Fallout 3. So
I don't
think we
think
actually
so.
had time to play games.
Right. Yeah. Well, we were in the condo when Fallout 3 came out.
Were we? Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, this was because it was the first introduction of VATS, which is a great combat mechanic without making it turn-based so much. It is basically turn-based, but a new way for first-person shooter fans to get a taste of that type of combat style. It's just a giant open world. I mean, it was really Baldur's Gate was a very open world for me in the sense that you could go anywhere you wanted and then immediately died because they were, super more powerful than anybody in your party. But this was just a huge game, a huge map, to find all sorts of stuff, and like everything is relevant.
Right. I failed. Like at the very first time, I think my first playthrough, I failed. I got stuck. I couldn't do anything, and it's because I think I went back and restarted it because someone said no. You have to scavenge. You have to pick up
Right.
everything and anything you can, and either sell it, use it to make something. You have to scavenge.
Right. And I mean, I want to give, shout out to Fallout 4. Like the building structure and like the creation tools in that game are a lot of fun. Like that takes the whole like scavenge everything you can, because not only can you sell it, but you can also build from it. So like it gives
I don't
you.
even remember Fallout 4 now.
Really?
I'm drawing a blank on it right now.
Because you could like anything, you could build like house structures and walls and things like that, and you built up the.
Yeah.
You built up the communities, and that was one of.
Your kid gets taken, and now I'm remembering.
Right.
Okay.
And instead of going and finding your kid, you're like, oh, I'm going to build this house, and then I'm going to build another house. Whose kid is? What's missing again? Oh no, I'm just going to keep building.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
But Fallout 3, fantastic game. If I could go back and play it again, first time around, do you remember how you played it? Did you play it good or evil?
I always play good.
Yeah, I think I played this one good too, which is weird because I usually play evil
Yeah,
characters.
you do.
All right, so number 4, gotta love Zelda Ocarina of Time. It's just
Never played it.
really okay. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna play each other's lists.
Yeah,
That's what we're gonna do. We're
then
gonna
we can
have.
experience it for the first time through somebody else's eyes.
Yes, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna have.
My list is going to take forever for you to get through. It's all RPG, huge RPGs.
Yeah, it's gonna take forever. I can't even finish. That's why I was saying with the Laundry Day stream. The reason why I don't want to do that is because they're like the first episode of Laundry Day stream. I haven't gone back and finished that game. Like I've gone through like 4 games or 4 episodes and played 4 different games, and I've already went back to Fortnite twice, and I need to go back and finish those other games. But anyway, we'll put together a retro gaming podcast stream or whatever where we play each other's lists. Let's do that. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
As long as you
we
don't
have time, because evenings are my time to work
Right.
and
right.
get house stuff done.
But Ocarina of Time was one of the probably besides Resident Evil games, which again that would be like number 7 on my list. But
See, I thought this was Wind Waker. It looks very similar to Wind Waker.
yeah, it's kind of. I mean,
Is it GameCube as well?
no, this was N64.
Oh.
So this is a little bit before that time, just a little bit. But again, not really an open world as much as the RPGs that have been on our list before this. But it really had that grand opening. When you get out in Hyrule and you're like, wow, this is huge. And everything was real time combat, and like the puzzles were a lot of fun. Even the dreaded water temple that people to this day cannot stand, it still was a lot of fun playing. And Zelda's really one of those weird franchises where it tells the same story over and over and over and over again, just with like a little bit of a twist, right? But this was kind of like the full-fledged, this is really sweet. Like this is just, you had your inventory with a bunch of different weapons, different things that, interacted with the environment. The enemies were, creative and, new and fresh and stuff like that. So I think this was the first one in 3D, three-dimensional.
I've never played through any Zelda, actually.
And boy, I'm looking at it now and it just looks rough. God.
N64.
Right. So
Now that you say it, it does look like the Mario 64, that kind of.
Yeah, the Mario 64 one. Yeah, very similar structure. I mean, it's Nintendo, so they come out with 3 games every console, and that's about it. All right, so then last on my list, I couldn't put a top 5 together without Halo. So Halo CE, the original. Here comes a stupid ad. Nope, maybe not. Sweet. So this one, kind of goes without saying. Just a lot of fun, kind of. The reason why this one, I would want to go back and play this one again, is just for the storytelling. Like the story in Halo 1 was really good. Like you're this, what you think is the last like super soldier. Your ship's under attack, and you've got these aliens coming out, and then you crash land on this weird planet that looks like a ring. Spoiler alert, you find out that it's actually a weapon and that there's multiple of these all over the galaxy. But I mean, it's just, it looks rough, but going back and playing it, and then also having the experience of the multiplayer, not the online stuff. They had like a third party online, but the
LAN parties.
The LAN parties. This is where it started. Like that's kind of what I would like to go back to, is just like being able to sit down with 16 friends. Yeah, 16 people, 4 Xboxes, and just battle it out.
Yeah.
I think this is the one. I think this is the only game that I've purchased on one console or one system and then purchased it again on PC. I'm pretty sure. I think Torchlight would be the other one, because we played Torchlight originally on Xbox. That was the fun, colorful, like you could pick from 3 different character RPG thing. It is a lot of fun. You'll remember, if you see it, you'll remember it. But it just goes to tell you, like, when you buy a game and then you want to play it again, but with a different controller, a different system, you buy it on a PC. I bought it on my Mac back then, so that's my top 5. But I really like your idea of oh God, for fuck's sake. Let's
What just happened?
No, that was what was on the
I didn't see it.
The video that we were streaming. We were taking somebody else's video. Apologize for that. But anyway, so let's close out with this GameStop thing, right? So GameStop announced recently that they're going to be doing a subscription service for their used games and kind of take on the red boxes and like the post Blockbuster world of renting games. So essentially, for let me double check here. I'm almost positive it's $60. Do you remember Torchlight?
No.
No, you don't?
No.
Dang it! I wish they just told you how much it was.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all.
You don't remember Torchlight?
Not at all.
Maybe you didn't play it. Maybe you didn't play it. I thought you did, though. Okay, so here we go. So it's $60 for 6 months, not $60 for a year. So $120 a year. It's the price of 2 full-fledged games to purchase. You can rent any game that they have used in their store for as long as you want.
Yeah, I don't understand why you'd ever buy a game.
Well, I mean, there's games that you'll want to play, like, religiously, like a Destiny or like a Halo or...
We bought Destiny and we've barely touched the surface.
I know. I understand that.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is see, the thing is that argument, so the actual article that I pulled up was on Shack News, and they talk about how it creates some, it cures some certain, it solves some woes and solves some issues with the video game market, but it also creates new ones. One of the things that they talk about it creating is this: how is this going to impact new game sales, right? So so Call of Duty, I would highly recommend paying $120 a year to play games like Call of Duty, the sports games that come out every year,
RPGs that you're going to play through once.
Exactly.
That don't have multiplayer.
Exactly. RPGs that you're only going to play through once. But the problem is there's already companies that are going out of business, and there's companies that are spending less and less time on their single players because of that. And
because people are purchasing the titles.
Because they're not purchasing them used, they're purchasing them new. They're purchasing them used.
Right.
So
they're not making much.
They're not
money
making any money.
Right.
Dang, I wish I had something to drink. But so what's So the one thing that I think it helps out is with, like Redbox, for instance. I will not rent a RPG from Redbox. There's just no reason to, because you're paying $4 a night to play this game that's 40 hours. If in our situation,
we can't sit down for 10 hours a day and play a game for
no,
4
not
days.
even on the weekends.
Right.
I almost play more video games during the week than I do on the weekends, right? So like, the Redbox might be great for someone that's got 20 hours to spill over 3 days.
Back when we were college students or young,
Right.
just out of college and could
Before you have kids.
Stay
Let's
up
just
all
call
night
it
and
before you
play
have kids.
games.
You can shun
or house.
No. You can shun work or not work. You can shun house chores and stuff like that because that's you just live there. But when you have another human being that's relying on you to feed them, entertain them, make sure they do their schoolwork and all that stuff, then that's a whole nother story. But what I'm going back to the topic was, I think it solves some big issues with, we only purchase maybe 2 or 3 games a year tops, right? Like so far this year we've bought what, Destiny? I think that's it. I don't think we've purchased anything else. Oh, we purchased Uncharted, but that's only because we purchased a new system. Like, if we wouldn't have purchased the new system, we wouldn't have got the game. So, but anyway, what I'm saying is, if you spend this $120, like, you can essentially rent any game you want. And then some of the people in the comments are like, oh well, the used market's going to be trash now because people are going to be downloading or playing these discs and they're going to be all ruined and stuff like that. So don't buy any used games from GameStop. And to be honest with you, I don't think that bothers GameStop a bit. Like, if you did instead gave them $120 a year, that's probably more than what. Plus, they keep their stock.
I mean, PlayStation has something similar, although it looked like it was more older games. And now I can't, for the life of me, remember the name. Is it PlayStation Now?
I think you're right. I'm looking up now. PlayStation Now.
Yeah. So again, this is something that it's unlimited access to the games. It's a lot of PS4 and PS3 titles.
500 plus.
Yeah. So a lot of old games. And again, you're not going to get your Xbox. The thing with the GameStop is Xbox, Wii, or not Wii, but Nintendo.
Right. Handheld games.
Right. So any system. So this would be just PlayStation only, obviously, since it's a PlayStation title. Can you pull up the price on here?
You get a 7-day free trial.
You do get a 7-day free trial. And there's a lot of great games on there. And I'm sorry I don't have the price right here.
Play on Oh, you can play on PC?
Okay,
Wow.
there you go. So $20 a month.
So it's the same price. No, it's not.
It's actually more expensive.
It's more expensive.
3-month subscription for $44, so $45. So are you pulling up the calculator right
Yeah.
there? Because I can't do the math in my head right
So that's
now.
$180.
For the year.
Hmm?
And what was the 120, right, for the GameStop?
Yeah, $120 for the year.
Yeah.
So if you bought it by month,
it's
if you bought it by the month,
cheaper.
it'd be $240 per month or
right.
per year.
So it is cheaper to go the GameStop route,
Mhm.
and you're able to get
Cross-platform games.
right. Now I don't know that they would have as much in the older, like the PS3 games, because they don't typically stock some of the older things.
Not
in
as
there.
many. But if you're just looking to play current gen games,
Right. The other, I guess, upside to the PlayStation Now is if you're sitting at home, it's Saturday night at 10 o'clock and GameStop's closed, you have the ability just to download your game real quick and play.
Mm-hmm.
So that instant gratification.
Right, you don't have to drive to turn the game in and pick it up. It's just right there. It's very digital friendly, which it's a digital system. So
Right. And that's
I'm for that. I
'cause
really
I still talk to, when I read, I download a lot of my books on my iPhone, which I know is tiny compared to like having a Kindle or an iPad that's more book format. But my sister is very hands-on. She said, I need the books. I like the paper, the feel of the paper, the smell of the paper. But it's that I just finished a book and the sequel's out and it's midnight and I can stay up for 2 more hours. I want to, download it and read it right now. I don't like to wait. So there is something to be said for that too. But for less money to have more access.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm all for the digital stuff because you don't have to store the discs. You don't have to. You can sit on your couch and change games on the fly. And how many books do you have on that iPhone?
I don't know.
Would you say more than 10?
Yes.
Okay. Would you be able to carry 10 books around with you wherever you go? No. So I mean, that's not saying anything. There's a right or a wrong way, but I'm just saying like the convenience factor of having this digital media is just, it's almost unprecedented. Like you can't get that same feeling from a hardback or a softback.
Right. No, I mean, it's awesome because apparently there's books in these series that I haven't read yet that I didn't know came out. So like, yeah, on my iPhone, I can go on here. I read a book and then I've got it purchased and I can hit all in series and it shows me all the books that are in that series. Have I purchased it yet? Have I not? Did I even know one was coming out?
Right.
It is nice to have all that at your fingertips, which is what you get with that PlayStation Now. But again, you're just getting the PlayStation titles, not the Xbox or Nintendo exclusives.
Right. Okay, guys. Well, that's our show for today. For tonight, this week.
One.
It's a lengthy one, yeah. 1 hour. Man.
You like to talk.
My throat hurts, yes. I left my beer upstairs. Darn it. Anyway, so yeah, leave us a comment. Go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/72DPI online. Leave us a comment about your top 5 games that you'd like to go back and play for the first time again. Be on the lookout. We'll put together that stream for where we play each other's lists or whatever. Each week we'll take turns. Like, you play my list and I'll play your. We'll take turns or whatever. Yeah, leave us a comment with your list. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. I haven't looked. I think we're still at 12. Still at 11 subscribers. Who's going to be the 12th? Come on, that's 2 weeks now, 3 weeks now that we haven't got a subscriber. We're sitting at 11. Come on. Seriously, what are you doing with your life? What else? You can watch us live every Wednesday on YouTube, on Twitch /72DPI online. I think that's about it. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com or at BC Podcast. I think that's about it.
Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right. I'm going to go play one more level of Call of Duty and then take the game back.
You're going to play an old school game.
Right now?
Get on it.
We're
excited.
Paying for that Call of Duty game. All right. We'll go through. Okay, what do you want to start us off with? Because
we'll talk about it on our.
Okay. All right. Well, have a great night, guys. We'll see you next
Night.
Wednesday. Have a good night.